Splash Splash Love is basically a college entrance exam panic attack that falls into a puddle and comes out as a royal romance. It is sweet enough to rot your teeth, but the premise is clever. A girl who thinks she is useless suddenly becomes the smartest person in Joseon. The story begins with Jang Dan-bai, a high school senior known as one of the worst students in her class. The national college entrance exam is only one day away, but she still cannot remember basic multiplication. When her teacher asks her a simple question, Dan-bai looks like she would rather disappear than answer. The strange part is, Dan-bai is not talentless. She can hear one line from a TV song and instantly name the idol singing it. But none of that matters in a world where test scores decide your worth. On exam day, Dan-bai packs her bag with snacks like she is going to war. Her mother rushes her out, but the pressure only makes Dan-bai more miserable. After getting off the bus, she realizes she left her umbrella behind. She walks through the rain towards school, thinking over and over about what will happen if she ruins the exam. Finally, Dan-bai cannot take it. Instead of entering the test room, she runs away to a nearby playground. Sitting alone in the rain, she thinks maybe disappearing would be easier than facing failure. Then she hears the sound of drums. Dan-bai follows the sound to a puddle. It should only be a few inches deep, but the water suddenly looks bottomless. At the same time, hundreds of years in the past, the Joseon court is holding a rain ritual. The kingdom has suffered through 3 years of drought. The ministers are blaming heaven, the people are desperate, and the young king, Yi-do, looks trapped under everyone's expectations. Just when the ceremony seems useless, dark clouds gather. The ministers believe a heavenly person is about to appear. In the modern world, Dan-bi runs forward and jumps into the puddle. A second later, she pops out of a giant jar in the middle of the Joseon ritual. Dan-bi thinks she has landed on a film set. Everyone else thinks something supernatural has happened. Yi-do asks if she is human or ghost. Dan-bai says she is just a high school senior, but the phrase gets misunderstood, and the court thinks she is a suspicious eunuch. The head eunuch looks exactly like Dan-bai's teacher, which only makes her more confused. When the guards try to seize her and her finger gets cut, Dan-bai finally realizes this is not acting. She really has traveled to the past. Some ministers believe she is the heavenly person sent to save them, so Dan-bai quickly plays along. Remembering a historical drama she watched, she announces that rain will come and orders everyone to kneel and pray. While the court bows, Dan-bai escapes. She steals official clothing, draws on a mustache, and tries to blend in. Unfortunately, she is dragged into mourning court. A minister claims the drought may be punishment because Yi-do still has no heir after 3 years of marriage. The officials pressure the king to sleep with Queen Soyeon and produce a child. The pressure does not stop with Yi-do. Queen Soyeon's father also pushes his daughter to produce an heir quickly, but Queen Soyeon is more interested in eating than being used as a political tool. Dan-bai, meanwhile, just wants her phone back and a way home. Dan-bai slips away again and finds her lost phone, but she is caught before she can escape. Yi-do is dealing with his own crisis. He gathers young scholars for help, but none of them can solve a basic geometry problem. The kingdom needs practical answers, and the people around him are useless. When Dan-bi is brought before him, Yi-do suspects she may be a spy. He picks up her phone and asks why rain appears inside it. Dan-bai explains it is only a wallpaper, but when the camera flash goes off, Yi-do panics. Modern technology looks like witchcraft in Joseon. Yi-do almost orders her execution, so Dan-bai desperately says she is from the future and knows history. He still does not believe her. Then she blurts out that she can do math. That gets his attention. Yi-do gives her the geometry problem his scholars could not solve. Dan-bai looks at it and realizes it is just middle school level math. She takes out her ballpoint pen, shocks everyone because it needs no ink, and solves the problem quickly. Yi-do is stunned. To him, Dan-bai has just become a national treasure. He spares her and keeps her close as his personal math teacher. The next morning, Dan-bai is dressed like a court servant, and everyone still thinks she is a young eunuch. Yi-do keeps borrowing her pen and secretly practices multiplication during court. When Dan-bai tests him later, he gets the answer wrong, and she flicks his forehead. The head eunuch sees it and nearly collapses. A guard even draws a blade, but Yi-do protects Dan-bai and continues the lesson. Yi-do tries to argue when he loses again, but Dan-bai punishes him again without hesitation. When Danbai finally loses a round, Yi-do gets childish revenge by pretending to bring out the royal sword and cut her hand. The lesson turns into a ridiculous power struggle between a king who wants to look dignified and a modern teenager who treats him like a bad student. Then Queen Joseon enters. Danbai freezes because the queen looks exactly like her childhood friend. Danbai quickly remembers this is not the same person and escapes in her eunuch disguise. At lunch, Yi-do is served a huge royal meal. Danbai's stomach growls so loudly that he dismisses everyone and shares food with her. They bicker, tease each other, and slowly grow closer. When Yi-do mocks commoners for not knowing royal food, Danbai drags him to the kitchen to show him modern flavor. She makes instant tteokbokki from her bag, adds sauce, hot water, and an egg, then warns him that it is extremely spicy. Yi-do ignores her and eats the whole thing. That night, his stomach rebels. Danbai explains that he has indigestion, not poisoning. She teaches him the difference between the stomach and intestines, then shows him where the heart is. Soon she is teaching palace doctors anatomy, fixing medical knowledge, explaining photosynthesis with her half-remembered biology, and even taking a selfie with Yi-do. Her modern school knowledge, which felt useless in her own world, becomes powerful here. Yi-do also learns practical ways to deal with the drought, forcing the old ministers to take her seriously. To reward her, Yi-do gives Danbai a rare sugar tangerine. She eats it in seconds. Yi-do is horrified because such a precious fruit should be savored slowly. Danbai only then realizes that something ordinary in the future is a royal treasure here. Yi-do does not want her to leave, though he cannot say it clearly. Instead, he punishes her by making her guard the goal while he kicks a ball. He keeps missing on purpose. Danbai complains that he cannot even run because kings care too much about dignity. She teases him until he finally forgets his image and chases her. They tumble to the ground laughing. Then Yi-do accidentally touches her chest, and the mood freezes. Danbai panics, hoping he has not discovered she is a girl. Yi-do pretends nothing happened and says he is going out in disguise. Danbai agrees to go with him, but while he changes clothes, a guard sends her away. She leaves reluctantly, carrying the smiley face she drew on the tangerine. Meanwhile, Yi-do realizes his heart is pounding. He remembers Danbai telling him that when his heart races because of someone he likes, he will finally understand where the heart is. The next palace mess begins when ministers pressure Queen Joseon to add tonics to Yi-do's food because the royal couple still has no child. But the tonics end up being eaten by Danbai. That night, the queen comes to Yi-do's chamber, thinking the medicine worked, while Danbai is hiding inside and teaching him math. Yi-do gently rejects the queen, saying he wants to be a wise king and does not want to force her. Then Danbai, flushed from the tonic, stumbles out and collapses. Queen Joseon understands enough to leave heartbroken. The tonic makes Danbai bold. She teases Yi-do, saying his handsome face makes her heart race, and the queen overhears enough to suspect Yi-do's feelings are not normal for a king and a supposed eunuch. Yi-do freezes, then leans closer to Danbai, almost kissing her before forcing himself to stop. Instead, he gently sets her down to rest. Later that night, Danbai wakes up and realizes she has been sleeping while holding him. She jumps away in panic, but Yi-do secretly enjoys it. Afterward, Yi-do takes her outside and tells her about his childhood. He admits that being king is lonely, and having Danbai around has made his life lighter. He offers to give her an official title, but Danbai refuses because the next rain may send her home. Yi-do then asks to be her friend, and Danbai gives him the smiley tangerine. But the court turns dangerous. Because the queen was rejected and Danbai is always beside the king, the ministers decide she must die. They capture her and prepare to punish her as a threat to the royal line. Yi-do argues that Danbai is from the future and can help solve the drought. He says she may be the only person who can research water and save the people, but the ministers only care about protecting the old order. The ministers do not believe him, so they demand a condition. Within 10 days, Danbai must create a clock that can measure time without sunlight. In Joseon, that sounds impossible. Danbai is confined, but Park Yeon, the young guard, helps gather tools. She works day and night on the water clock, searching her textbooks, calculating until she gets nosebleeds, and falling asleep at the desk. For the first time, she is truly giving everything to one task. Yi-do misses her. He visits quietly and leaves the smiley tangerine behind. When Danbai sees it, she knows he came. Then rain starts falling. Danbai changes back into her school uniform and walks to a puddle. The water is deep. She can go home. Yi-do remembers her words and runs through the rain, throwing away every bit of royal dignity. When he arrives, he thinks she is gone. Then he hears her voice. Danbai is still there. She cries because she has not finished the clock yet. She admits that she has never worked this hard for anything before, and if she fails after trying her best, she will have to face the fear that she really is useless. Yi-do comforts her by placing her hand against his chest so she can feel his heartbeat. Then he pulls her into his arms, and as they stand together, the rain begins to stop. To protect her from the ministers, Yi-do plans to send Danbai away to a neighboring country, but Danbai does not want to run. Park Yeon still has to escort her out. Queen Soyeon hears that Yi-do ran through the rain for a eunuch and feels humiliated. When she opens the box where the royal seal should be, she finds the smiley tangerine instead and realizes how much Danbai means to him. Yi-do refuses to abandon his feelings and rides out to find Danbai. Queen Soyeon also follows. On the road, Park Yeon suddenly puts a sword to Danbai's neck. A minister had promised him a promotion if he killed her. But after a moment, he lowers the blade and instead strikes an assassin behind her. More killers appear, and Park Yeon fights them off with the small utility knife Danbai gave him. Danbai is thrown onto a runaway horse. She nearly falls several times and panics until a ridiculous song from her modern life flashes through her head. Somehow, that goofy rhythm helps her find balance, and she manages to ride. Queen Soyeon runs after them until her feet are bleeding, even throwing away the wig she treasures. Instead of finding Yi-do, she finds the wounded Park Yeon. He treats her injured feet and carries her on his back. It turns out they have known each other since childhood and have quietly cared for each other for years, but their status kept them apart. At sunset, Danbai reaches the beach. Yi-do arrives on horseback, runs to her, kisses her, and holds her like he never wants to let go. That night, Danbai shows Yi-do a star map on her phone. He is amazed that the sky can fit inside such a small thing. Then the battery dies, and they look up at the real stars instead. Yi-do writes, "I love you" in English on Danbai's palm, making her shy and overwhelmed. Nearby, Queen Soyeon and Park Yeon also sit under the stars. The queen is still angry, but when her stomach growls, Park Yeon cooks fried chicken using Danbai's future recipe. The queen loves it. Later, she paints stars on her wall and decides she will stop living only for other people's expectations. Danbai gives Yi-do chocolate, saying sweet things help when he feels down. Yi-do tells her his dream. He wants to create Joseon's own writing system so ordinary people can learn to read and live better lives. Danbai then sees his face on modern Korean money and realizes he is the future King Sejong the Great. When Danbai finds instant noodles her mother packed in her bag, she suddenly misses home. Her mother was strict, but she also hid love in small details. Danbai starts crying, and Yi-do awkwardly comforts her with chocolate. The next morning, Danbai finally solves the water clock problem. Rotten water plants were slowing the flow, so once she clears them, the water fills at a steady rate. The clock works. Yi-do is thrilled. He gathers the court, promotes Park Yeon, and pardons Danbai. Queen Soyeon's father wants Danbai expelled, but another older official unexpectedly praises her because he truly cares about the people. Later, Danbai finds Queen Soyeon sneaking food in the kitchen. The two laugh together, and Danbai makes spicy instant noodles for her. Queen Soyeon then shows Danbai a dress design, and Danbai improves it with her utility knife and glitter. The queen loves the result and begins treating Danbai as a friend. Queen Soyeon and the Queen Dowager then prepare a surprise. They dress Danbai beautifully, put lipstick on her, and tell her it is for her wedding night with Yi-do. Danbai panics and hides in a side room. Yi-do follows and is stunned to see her dressed as a woman. The Queen Dowager wants Danbai to become a royal consort and help produce an heir. That night, Danbai and Yi-do lie separated by a thin curtain, both unable to sleep. Yi-do tells her he hopes she will not leave when the next rain comes. At first, he thought she was useful for his great work, but now he simply wants her beside him. Danbai is torn. She fears changing history, and she misses her family and friends. When she sees that the Queen Dowager looks exactly like her mother, her homesickness breaks open, and she cries in the older woman's arms. Yi-do brings Danbai to his secret study, where she sees the drafts of the Korean alphabet he has been creating. He wants common people to read and write. Danbai is moved because she is watching history happen in front of her. Yi-do places a hairpin in her hair and gives her the first 3 characters he created as a name. Danbai understands his heart, but she says she wants to try going home with the next rain. Yi-do suggests she visit her family and then come back, but Danbai has decided not to keep running from her own life. She removes the hairpin to return it, and Yi-do leaves in pain. Before Danbai can read the name he gave her, a masked attacker appears. He knocks her down, tries to stab her, destroys the precious alphabet manuscripts, spreads gunpowder, and sets the study on fire. Half-conscious, Danbai uses the last of her strength to grab the hairpin, the one gift Yi-do gave her. Queen Joseon alerts Yi-do, and he rushes into the burning room, blaming himself for keeping Danbai near danger. The fire destroys much of his life's work. Yi-do investigates and identifies the culprit through gunpowder traces. Danbai survives because a dictionary in her bag blocked the blade. The captured minister admits he tried to kill Danbai and burn the writing system because if common people learn to read, the powerful will lose their privilege. Yi-do tells him that fear of a future that has not arrived cannot justify abandoning today's mission. Danbai then gives him one of her modern textbooks. Yi-do sees Korean letters printed all over it and realizes his dream survives into the future. His eyes fill with tears. Soon, rain begins again. Danbai knows it is time to leave. She says goodbye to Park Yeon and finally learns his name. Realizing he will become a famous musician in history, she tells him never to give up music because his melodies will travel for 1,000 years. Yi-do rides with Danbai to the beach. They let the rain wash over them, stealing a few quiet moments before goodbye. In the rain, they share one final kiss. When the moment comes, Yi-do gently lets her go, knowing he will be alone again. Danbai returns to the modern world and runs to her exam. Luckily, it has only just begun. On the test, she sees a history question asking who helped the king with his inventions. The answer is Jang Yong-sil, the name Yi-do gave her. Danbai realizes she has become part of history. After the exam, she goes home and hugs her mother. Time passes. Danbai's friend, who looks like Queen Soyeon, fangirls over a man on TV who looks exactly like Park Yeon. Then rain starts again. Danbi runs to the familiar puddle and tries again and again to return, but it no longer works. Standing alone in the rain, she is devastated. Then an umbrella appears above her. Danbai looks up and sees a man who looks exactly like Yi-do. Across time and rain, the person who promised to find her has finally come back. That's all for today's drama recap. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, comment, and share. I'll see you in the next one.